Now, boys and girls, more darkness falls on a chat with Glendora, our CEO Hall of Shame here. Mr. Robert W. Galvin, who is the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Motorola, said that he would not help you and do an interview, and he was not pleasant about it. And Mr. William P. Sturtz, who's the Chairman and President of Purina, refused to do an interview and refused to help you. And Ronald L. Gelb, who is the chairman of Bristol Myers, mind you, would not do an interview with you and help you on a career. Carl D. Bays, who's the chairman of the Whitman Corporation, you know those nice chocolates? Okay, he was asked to do an interview, he would not do it, and he was disagreeable. Theodore H. Black, who is the President and Chief Executive Officer of Ingersoll Rand in Woodcliff Lake, New Jersey, refused to do an interview and help the children. Mr. T. Marshall Harn Jr., Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Georgia Pacific in Atlanta, Georgia, would not help the youth and tell them about a career, nor would he be pleasant about it. Mr. John W. Ammerman, boy, this is really something, who is the chairman of and the president and the chief executive officer of Mattel Toys, said that he would do the interview, and then he went back on his word. And Mr. William J. Alley of American Brands said that he would do the interview, but then he went back on his word. Mr. Fred L. Brengel, the chairman of Johnson Controls, we didn't get to him, but we did ask his president and chief executive officer, James H. Keyes, if he would do an interview to help the children. The answer was no, and he was none too nice about it. Mr. Edgar S. Woolard, who is now the chairman of DuPont, said he would not do an interview to help the children with a career. But Mr. Heckert did, the chairman before him. Now, the chairman of Amusol, you know, they make gum, and they're owned by the Wrigley Company. The chairman is Mr. A.G. Atwater Jr. He's pleasant enough, but he said he'd do the interview, and then he changed his mind. Then he said to do the interview, and then he went back on his word. Mr. Tom Thornton of Mr. Goodbyes said that he would do the interview. And he made an appointment even, but it was no show, no notice, no apology, and no make good. Old World Trading Company Incorporated in Des Plaines, Illinois, they make Mystic tape, for one thing. Mr. Tom Hervis would not do an interview for you and tell you about a career. Now, Frank Larkin, who is the president of North Shore Movers in Northbrook, Illinois, he made an appointment for September the 12th, 1989, Thursday, mid-afternoon. He never called, he never gave us notice, he never did the interview, and no apology and no make good. Now, Mr. O'Neill of O'Neill Steel, Emmett O'Neill, said he would call Thursday morning, September 14th, and do an interview. He never did. He went back on his word. And this is too bad. This is such a beautiful woman here. Her name is Bohan, Shirley Bohan, and she's with Omega World Travel. And she made the appointment to do the interview, but there was no show, and no apology, and no notice, and no make good.
Several companies
is the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Marathon Electric Corporation, Manufacturing Corporation, is going to help you boys and girls choose a career. John, how are you today?
Very well, thank you. Beautiful day.
Oh, it is perfect. It's great to be alive. John, tell the boys and girls about Electric Corporation.
Well, all over the world. 3 times.
International Fortune 500 company number 290. Hi, Jim. How are you?
Well, I just couldn't be any better. How are all the boys and girls?
Oh, we're good, thanks. Jim, will you tell us what York International does and is?
We're one of the largest manufacturers of air conditioning, refrigeration equipment in the world.
Wow.
We do business worldwide.
You do?
Yep.
Oh, that's exciting. And it's air conditioning equipment, right, for the home, too?
Yeah, about 500 million a year for the homes and about 700 or 800 million for industry.
Oh, boy. Well,
The advantage of being able to travel around and work with people that really makes the job fun.
yeah, I bet it does. Donald, tell us where you were born.
I was born in a small mining town in Western Canada, and I lived about half of my life in Canada, and then moved from there to Africa, and from there to the United States, where I've been now for about 15 years, and I don't intend to ever leave here again.
Oh, I think that's terrific. Where were you born, Mr. Fuqua?
On a farm in Virginia.
On a farm in Virginia. And where did you go to school?
I went to country high school in Virginia, and that's all the formal education I had.
Really, haven't you done well? You had to go out and work, Mr. Fuqua?
Yes, I had to go to work immediately out of high school. I got a job as a radio operator on a boat.
Oh, really? You went all over the world?
Went all over the world.
Well, that's pretty good, isn't it? Hi, Fred. How are you?
Very good, Glendora. How you doing?
Good, thanks. Fred, would you tell the boys and girls what National Life Insurance Company is?
National Life Insurance Company was founded in 1848 up in Montpelier, Vermont. Since that time, we have sold individual type life insurance. That means not to groups of people, but to individuals. And since our founding, we have branched out a little bit into what people call annuities.
Incorporated is going to tell you about his career. Hi, Carl. How are you? Carl, want to tell the boys and girls, please, what Owen Healthcare is and does? Oh, what kind of hospital pharmacies? Oh, I see. And you're the largest. And your sales are tremendous. What are they? Something like a 100 million or? How are you today? Would you tell the boys and girls what the Pepper Company does and is?
The Pepper Companies are a holding company for 3 general contracting firms. We have one in Chicago, which is the Pepper Construction Company. We have in Florida, which is Pepper Southern.
There's a new to think the next company is going to the dogs. That's not so. This is a sweet dog. Her name is Delilah Sampson. She's not the chairman or CEO of any company, unless she's the chairman and CEO of Anthony Giordano. She lives in Harrison, and she weighs 115 pounds, and she's 9 years old. Isn't she a sweetheart? So, boys and girls, this is the dark part of a chat with Glendora. These are the CEOs and chairmen who would not help the children choose a career. And most of them were not particularly pleasant about it. Of all people, Forrest Mars, who is the chairman of your favorite candy bars, Mars Candy Bars, would not. And Romeo J. Ventris, who's the chairman and chief executive officer of Borden, did not care to help the boys and girls. And Robert Reed would not do an interview. He sent a letter. He's the chairman of Pacific Resources in Honolulu. And Jim Levy of Joyce Beverages would not do an interview to help the boys and girls. And we've asked him for a couple of years now. And Lawrence Goodman, the Orman shops, gave his word that he would do an interview, and then he went back on it. Robert H. West, chairman of Butler Manufacturing, did not care to help the children with an interview. And Gloria Bohan, pretty woman, sent her picture and everything, and then she never followed up on her word. She went back on her word. Westmoreland Coal, Mr. Edward B. Leisingring wouldn't have anything to do with helping the children choose a career. And George J. Sella would not give an interview and help the children, and he was quite unpleasant about it. And John R. Stafford, who is the chairman. Oh, who is George Sella? George Sella is the chairman of American Cyanamid and the chief executive officer and the president. And John R. Stafford, who is the chairman, president, and CEO of American Home Products, a lot of products that you use in your home, would not do an interview to help the children. And he was, he could have been more friendly about it. In Carpenter Technology, Paul R. Rodell did not want to help the children and help them choose a career. And then we have Mr. Cap Adam, who is the chairman and chief executive officer of Leo Burnett Advertising in Chicago, has repeatedly refused to help the children. And now let's see who else. I think there's just one more here. This is Mr. Roberts, Burnell Roberts, chairman and chief executive officer of Georgia Craft. He will not help the children choose a career. The head of Mead Company, those are the people who make all those back-to-school supplies that you buy. And Mr. Zekan is the chairman and chief executive officer of A. Schulman Company. He would not have anything to do with telling the children how to pick a career and telling the children about his career. And there again, he could have been much nicer about it. So these are the dark days, the CEO Hall of Shame, and this is a chat with Glendora.
Smurf a new magic flute!
We'll return to our movie special, The Smurfs and the Magic Flute, after these.
I could get a beautiful designer suit.
Just 2.3 miles from the Lincoln Tunnel, Route 27 Edison, and now Route 10 East Hanover.
Folks, this is Glendora. The doctor said to Ed, I can't help you. Your sickness is hereditary. And Ed said, send the bill to my father. Joan said to her doctor, give my son 2 shots for German measles, one for East Germany and one for West Germany. Bob has a dog who plays poker. The dog's not so smart. Every time he gets a good hand, he wags his tail. Lou wants to be an inventor. He's crossing an electric blanket with a toaster so people will pop out of bed in the morning. This 30 Seconds of Good Cheer is brought to you by the Quaker Oats Company.
Should your name be on this envelope?
buying cars, and so forth.
So how are we doing? Well, boys and girls, we haven't had a Hall of Shame for quite a few weeks, but here are people who had no interest in helping boys and girls choose a career. And in general, most of these people were not very pleasant about it. We have Fortune 500 company number 31, Kraft, and Michael A. Miles, the CEO of that company, does not want to help boys and girls choose a career. Reliance Electric, Fortune 500, 245, John C. Morley, Chief Executive Officer, said no. Magnatech, Fortune 500, 419, Andrew G. Galiff, had no interest in helping boys and girls choose a career. H.H. Robertson, Chief Executive Officer, Jack Hatcher, no to helping boys and girls choose a career. Federal Paperboard Company, Fortune 500, 319, John R. Kennedy Jr., Chief Executive Officer, said no. Herman Miller, which is Fortune 500, 439, Max O. Dupree, said that he would not help boys and girls choose a career. American Cyanamid, Fortune 500, number 106, George J. Sella Jr. said no, he would not help boys and girls choose a career, and he was really none too pleasant about it. Now, Cap Adams, who is the Chief Executive Officer of a very large advertising agency, Leo Burnett, said that he would not help boys and girls choose a career. American Maize Products, Fortune 500, 475, Mr. William Ziegler III said no, and he could have been a lot nicer about it. Now we have Fortune 500, number 175, Pitney Bowes, George B. Harvey, Chairman, President, and Chief Executive Officer, said no. Hoffman LaRouche, the Chief Executive Officer, Erwin Lerner, said no. He would not help boys and girls choose a career. 223 Temple Inland, 223 Fortune 500, that is, Mr. Clifford Grum, G-R-U-M, said no, he would not help boys and girls choose a career. Powell Electronics, Mr. Nano, said that he would. He made the appointment. It was a case of no show, no notice, no apology, and no make good. Carpenter Technology, Fortune 490, Mr. Paul R. Rudell, Chief Executive Officer, had no interest in helping boys and girls choose a career. Fruit of the Loom, John B. Holland, the Chief Executive Officer, had no interest in helping boys and girls choose a career. Allied Products, Fortune 500, 482, Mr. S.S. Sherman, who is the chairman, said that he would, made the appointment, and then it was a case of no show, no notice, no apology, and no make good. And how do you figure this one? Jerry L. Stead, the Chief Executive Officer of Square D, did not give us a Square D at all. He made an appointment to do it. He never showed. He never gave us any notice. He never apologized to us. And he never made it any good. So that's Square D, Fortune 500, 234, Jerry Stead. International Flavors and Fragrances, maybe 50 attempts to get Mr. Eugene P. Grisanti to help the boys and girls choose a career, and it just wouldn't go through. And Rubbermaid, Fortune 500 company, 323, I guess. Stanley C. Galt made the appointment, boys and girls. He didn't show, he didn't give us any notice, he didn't apologize, and he didn't make it good. Boys and girls, here are the people in the CEO Hall of Shame this week. These are the people who did not care to help the boys and girls choose a career and who are none too nice about it. Celanese, Ernest H. Drew, President and Chief Executive Officer. Colgate-Palmolive, William S. Shanigan, Senior Executive Vice President. Dean Foods, Howard M. Dean Jr., President and CEO. Arsco in New York. This is a Fortune 500 company, number 255. Richard Osborne, who is the Chairman, President, and CEO. Tyco Laboratories, Fortune 500, 297, Exeter, New Hampshire. John F. Fort, Chairman and President and CEO. National Service Company, Fortune 500, 261, Sidney Kirshner, President and CEO. Dow Corning, in Midland, Michigan. L.A. Reid, President and CEO. West Tavco, Fortune 500, 201, David A. Luke Sr. Excuse me, that's wrong. John A. Luke Sr., President and CEO. Arvin Industries, Fortune 500, 252. James K. Baker, Chairman and CEO. Owens Corning Fiberglass. Mr. Boshenstein, Chairman, President, and CEO. He made an appointment to give you an interview to help you choose a career. It was a case of no show, no apology, no notice, and no make good. Now, boys and girls, the CEO Hall of Shame. To enter the Hall of Shame, you have to say, no, you won't do anything to help the boys and girls choose a career. You won't go on the program and help the boys and girls choose a career. And the second thing is that you have to be very nasty about it. So coming into the Hall of Shame is the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Thomas J. Lipton Company. You know, Lipton Soups and Lipton Tea. Blaine Hess. Successful. It says here that your sales are $400 million a year. Oh, that's terrific. Now, Chester, what do you enjoy most about your work? Yeah, it's exciting, isn't it? And you've made a success of it. That's a great satisfaction. Where were you born? Oh, good thing. Boys and girls, Barry is the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer and President of the Record Bar. Could you tell us what the Record Bar is and does, Barry?
Record Bar is a retail record chain. Sell music, sell CDs, cassettes.
Wow.
And, we rent some video, we sell some video.
Well, that must be interesting, Barry. And you thought of this thing all by yourself. Where were you born?
I was born in Durham, North Carolina, where I basically still live. I live in Chapel Hill.
And did you go to school in Durham?
Went to
Duke?
This is a wholesale grocery company. We have distribution centers in 7 states. a week, and we'll average 100,000 square feet per store.
Hey, that's great. And you were born where?
In Amsterdam, New York.
Amsterdam, New York. Amsterdam. That's on Route 5, just west of Schenectady, boys and girls. And where did you go to school, John Dixon?
I went to school in Ashland, Ohio. Ashland College.
Ashland College. That's where Ashland Oil is? No, that's Ashland, Kentucky. And what did you take as an undergraduate?
I took, my major was business administration, and I had a minor in marketing and advertising.
Are those good majors for what you turned out to do?
Yes, it was kind of a broad brush, and it worked very well with what I do.
Yeah. And what were your jobs when you got out of Ashland College?
I started working in a grocery store in Buffalo, New York, unloading trucks, and
what store was that, John?
that was Loblaw Incorporated.
Oh, sure, right.
And then progressed from there to produce manager,
Wow.
eventually assistant manager, store manager, and then district manager where I supervised a number of stores, and then came into the office of Loblaw in Pittsburgh, and then I moved around the country in various positions with other chains and wholesalers.
And then what happened?
Well, 3 years ago, Roundy's was looking for a new president and CEO. I had, at that time, was a senior vice president with Glendora Incorporated and had 5 divisions reporting to me. And Glendora is the 3rd largest wholesaler in the world.
Wow.
I was offered a position with Roundy's.
Oh, that's nice. Is Glendora in Toronto?
No, Glendora is in St. Louis.
St. Louis. And will you just tell the boys and girls how they can have a nice career like yours?
Well, basically, you know, keep working, try to always learn something. I think one of the most important things is don't be discouraged. I, at different times, at the time thought maybe I was moving sideways or even in some instances possibly being demoted, and tried not to let that bother me, but learn. And once you learn something, no one can ever take it away from you.
Yes.
My probably strength is I have a very large area where I'm familiar with. I won't say I have expertise, but I'm familiar with. I have run warehouses. I've done transportation. I've bought trucks, spec trucks. I've built stores, run stores, and done everything pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, they're lucky to have you. How did you deal with those times of moving sideways and?
Well, it was a little difficult, but I had a tremendous family, and wife. I have 6 children, 5 daughters. We just kept working, knowing that they needed you, and we just kept on going ahead.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's almost cheaper by the dozen, or 8 is enough, right? 11 is enough. John Dixon, you were wonderful to help out the kids. I guess that you have a great feeling for kids.
Yes. That's our greatest asset, the children.
Oh, you hear that, boys and girls? You're our greatest asset. President and Chief Executive Officer of Roundy's Incorporated on a chat with Glendora. Thanks a heap, John. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Bye-bye. And then what did you do when you came out?
Well, when I came out,
Stores. Thanks, Louis, for helping out the kids.
Admission to Harvard Business School, but there were about 70,000 applicants.
Yes. By the dozen, or 8 is enough, right? 11 is enough. John Dixon, you were wonderful to help out the kids. I guess that you have a great feeling for kids.
yes. That's our greatest asset, the children.
Oh, you hear that, boys and girls? You're our greatest asset. President and Chief Executive Officer of Roundy's Incorporated on a chat with Glendora. Thanks a heap, John.
They have to do something with it, and 2, we want them to like it, so that in the future they'll think of Remington in a very kind way. Now, we make electric shavers, and we believe
Wow. And what do you enjoy most about your work?
We serve independents.
What's that?
Sell direct to the consumer.
To the consumer, uh-huh.
Mail order business.
Oh, really? And it's a big one, boys and girls. It says here that the sales are 84 million. Is that right, Robert?
That's the parent company. We're a part of that.
Okay. Now, Robert, what's the most fun part of your work?
Most fun is coming up with the advertisements.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that is a lot of fun. And when they work, it's a thrill, isn't it? Where were you?
Boys and girls, to enter the CEO Hall of Shame, you have to be two things. One, you have to say no, you won't do an interview to help the children pick a career. And two, you have to be very unpleasant about it. So this week's entries are the President and CEO of Pitway, Fortune 500 407, Mr. King Harris. The President and Chief Executive Officer of Riviana Foods, Incorporated, Joseph A. Hefner.
But let's just
Where's this coming from? Here?
a word here that
You making a dub?
for
It's coming from here. It's coming from the 8mm. The 8mm is taking the picture and giving the character generator. And it's the 8mm putting it into here, to the back. And then simultaneously while the 8mm is recording, the VHS is recording.
Radio to television, newspapers to magazines.
That's even better. Jerry Rubin, who is the President and Chief Executive Officer of an advertising agency, Rubin Postier. Hi, Jerry. How are you?
Glendora, thank you for having me.
Jerry, tell the boys and girls about Rubin and Postier, would you please?
Well, we are a full-service advertising agency. Lou, tell us about the San Francisco French Bread Company, if you would, please. The San Francisco French Bread Company is the baker and baker of San Francisco sourdough French bread, as it's known throughout the world under a number of different labels, primarily the Parisian and Boudin labels in Northern California and the Colombo label. I see. Mm-hmm. And what does your work consist of as the president?
Let's talk about that. Tapes. And was that a good major for you?
Interesting. Well, that's no doubt helpful in the work that you're doing now. What in your progression, what did you do when you got out of college?
Executive Officer of Radio Wholesale Tire Center. Hi, Dwayne. How are you? Oh, thank you. Dwayne, tell the boys and girls most of please about Radio Wholesale Tire Center.
And now here's the CEO Hall of Shame for this week. And belonging in the CEO Hall of Shame is the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Perkin Elmer, Mr. Horace McDonald. In New York, Mr. William Wishnick, the Chairman and CEO of Whitco, Fortune 500 Company 240. And this is hard to understand. Who wouldn't do an interview for you and tell you how to get started on a career? But the CEO of Schwinn Bicycle, Mr. Ed Schwinn. Century Insurance, Mr. Larry Ballard would not do an interview to help the children choose a career. And Mr. C.R. Pullen, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Coppers in Pittsburgh, Fortune 500 Company 224. And Trinog Company, Mr. Darrell F. Allen, President and CEO. These people would not do an interview to help.
Was that a good
In the CEO Hall of Shame this week, boys and girls, is Mr. Marvin Schwann of Schwann Sales Enterprises. He would not help the boys and girls, and he didn't even have the courtesy to call back himself and say so.
Decision makers are the players. I'm really administrators, and this is the time in which we all meet on a monthly basis to literally consider and communicate the concerns we have about the school district and about the school district. Oftentimes I ask you,
And now, boys and girls, here's the CEO Hall of Shame of this week. The following people and companies didn't care anything about helping you boys and girls choose a career, and the people who said they wouldn't were also very, very unpleasant about it. Company, Rayovac Corporation, Thomas Pyle, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer. The Okanite Company, Victor A. Vaggiano, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer and President. Scudder, Stevens, and Clark. George S. Johnson, Chairman of Board, President, and Chief Executive Officer. The Schramm Advertising Company. Mr. Weinstein, Ira P. Weinstein, said he would do the interview, and then he went back on his word. With no notice, no show, no make good, and no apology. The National Gypsum Company, Fortune 500, 251. Mr. John P. Hayes, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer. McGraw-Hill, Fortune 500, 211. Joseph L. Dion, Chairman, President, and CEO. Chicago Pacific, Harvey Kapnick, Chairman, President, and CEO.
Tonight,
he's the spirit of the woods.
Life goes on.
Put that gun down.
Do you need tires? Do you need rims? Well, if you need tires or custom rims, come see me. I'm John Jaffis. I recommend the dependable Atsu tire. Atsu tires are high-mileage tires. Atsu tires have a limited road hazard warranty, and Atsu tires are sensibly priced. For all brands and sizes, come to H. Jaffis Tire, 555 East Fordham Road, Bronx, New York. Fast, dependable service for over 50 years.
Raceland, Dobler Chevrolet.
So here's the CEO Hall of Shame for this week, boys and girls. To get into the CEO Hall of Shame, the corporate executives have to, number one, not care at all about helping the boys and girls choose a career, and number two, they have to be very unpleasant about it. So first this week is Harsco, Fortune 500 company, 291. Malcolm W. Gamble, President and Chief Executive Officer. Bank of New York, Chairman, J. Carter Bacot. Shorefine Central Corporation, Brian Bitke. Made the appointment, no show, no notice, no apology, and no make good. Southwestern Ohio Steel Incorporated, Thomas S. Haldeman, Chairman of the Board and Chief Executive Officer. Made the appointment, no show, no notice, no apology, back on his word.
Takes it off like Noxina medicated shave.
It's the greatest commercials ever, from Groucho and Lucy to the California Raisins. Don't miss Joel Siegel's special report. And now, a word from our sponsor, Monday on Eyewitness News at 5 and 11, right here on Channel 7.
Do you need tires? Do you need rims? Well, if you need tires or custom rims, come see me. I'm John Jaffis. I recommend the dependable Atsu tire. Atsu tires are high-mileage tires. Atsu tires have a limited road hazard warranty, and Atsu tires are sensibly priced. For all brands and sizes, come to H. Jaffis Tire, 555 East Fordham Road, Bronx, New York. Fast, dependable service for over 50 years.
And now back to The Lost World.
Primary raw material for integrated circuits to make computers. Oh, that's wonderful. How did it all come about? Well, actually, it started off years ago in Europe in the formation of crystal, and then in the 1960s, some people in the United States
Talk with you, Jack Lowe, who is President and CEO of TD Industries. Jack, to start with, could you tell us about what TD Industries is? TD Industries is an employee-owned company that engages in installing air conditioning and plumbing in various kinds of buildings around the country and in servicing those systems. I see. Fine, how are you? Good, thanks, Nancy. Tell the boys and girls what Sereno Coin Advertising is and does. We do advertising for Broadway shows, the television commercials and the radio commercials and the posters that advertise shows on Broadway, also the shows that go to other towns around the country. Oh, great, what fun. Give me their names of a couple of them, see if I've seen them. Oh, Pat. Yeah. Yeah, that's John. Good morning. Oh, what a fascinating...
Now, boys and girls, here are the people who entered the Hall of Shame for this week. To be in the Hall of Shame, you have to do two things. One, not care anything about giving the boys and girls help on a career. And number two, you have to be quite nasty about it. So, here we are. Nortec, Fortune 500 Company, 267. Chief Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, Ralph R. Pepito. Staple Cotton Cooperative Association, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, Woods Eastland. This is particularly bad. Number 3, he made the appointment. He didn't keep it. It was no show, no notice, no apology, and no make good. Number 3, Statewide Capital Planning Incorporated, Mr. Steven Sobin.
Your help. And you do want us to be there. Simply write to me, Robert Schuler, Garden Grove, California, God bless you.
Thank you, Cheryl Mills.
Nissan dealer now.
Do you need tires? Do you need rims? Well, if you need tires or custom rims, come see me. I'm John Jaffis. I recommend the dependable Atsu tire. Atsu tires are high-mileage tires. Atsu tires have a limited road hazard warranty, and Atsu tires are sensibly priced. For all brands and sizes, come to H. Jaffis Tire, 555 East Fordham Road, Bronx, New York. Fast, dependable service for over 50 years.
We, Allison.
To
Theater.
Do you need tires? Do you need rims? Well, if you need tires or custom rims, come see me. I'm John Jaffis. I recommend the dependable Atsu tire. Atsu tires are high-mileage tires. Atsu tires have a limited road hazard warranty, and Atsu tires are sensibly priced. For all brands and sizes, come to H. Jaffis Tire, 555 East Fordham Road, Bronx, New York. Fast, dependable service for over 50 years.
On the next Sally Jesse Raphael, is your husband your constant companion, or does he leave you feeling lonely?
I literally...
We continue with the second run, have the youngster Everharter on top, but Furuseth is still to come when we return to Mount St. Anne.
If you want an anti-lock...
Do it, Jordache. Do you need tires? Do you need rims? Well, if you need tires or custom rims, come see me. I'm John Jaffis. I recommend the dependable Atsu tire. Atsu tires are high-mileage tires. Atsu tires have a limited road hazard warranty, and Atsu tires are sensibly priced. For all brands and sizes, come to H. Jaffis Tire, 555 East Fordham Road, Bronx, New York. Fast, dependable service for over 50 years.
The mountains here reach skyward hundreds of feet, but the spires of St. Anne's Basilica reach all the way to the heavens for the 1.5 million pilgrims who come here annually to pray. According to popular belief, St. Anne saved numerous St. Lawrence shipwreck victims, and the first chapel dedicated to her existed here as early as 1658. This inspiring basilica was erected in 1923. The best racers from the first run of this Mount St. Anne World Cup Giant Slalom for men are at the top, trying to stay warm on this bitterly cold day, getting ready for their second and final run. And this is Rudolf Nierlich, the reigning world champion in this event.
And Happy New Year. You'll ring a bell. Thank you.
While by my sheep I watched that night, glad tidings brought an angel bright. How great my joy! Great my joy! Joy, joy, joy! Joy, joy, joy! Praise we the Lord in heaven on high. Praise we the Lord in heaven on high. There shall be born, so he did say, in Bethlehem, a child